And we're live for the PL fan debate. I couldn't find the jingle, so just imagine it. And then like there's a compilation of him chatting on StreamYard. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about and a few people to talk about it with. I went for the title of talking about Marsche to Southampton and the controversy for the VAR with Brighton Palace. None of those fans are it. So, look, we're going to talk about the weekend's games, what it means for the relegation battle. Who here is still in the relegation battle? Obviously, West Ham, we are. But, interesting. Some fans, you didn't raise your hand there, Dad. Interesting. Very interesting.
Wolves aren't in the relegation battle.
Oh, we'll see.
Neither are we because we're above you.
Lawless, the only team that's in the relegation battle out of us five is you.
Only team? Really?
In this five, you were the only team in this relegation battle. Nottingham Forest's home form will carry them over the line. Leicester are away again. Villa are pretty much safe, but I can pray they get dragged into it. The only team in this five in the relegation battle is you. I said to you before the World Cup break, go back to the episode, that by the time we played you, we would be above West Ham, and we're now like, how many points clear? 3?
3, yeah. Wow. I'm
No.
Insurmountable.
We're basically in a title race compared to West Ham now.
That's 3 points. How will we ever catch up to Wolves, man? 3.
Moyes is still in charge.
I don't know. We're the only ones. I mean, obviously Leicester have been in it. They haven't sacked Brendan Rodgers, and judging by form, seems to be the right decision. Obviously, Forest haven't sacked their manager, but out of like the bottom 6, which you're included, by the way, Dan.
Until Saturday.
We ain't sacked our manager. You sacked your manager, and it's seems to be doing you wonders. But we have not sacked our manager. We're only ones in the bottom 6, and we're sort of stagnant. Seem to be turning the corner, but it's getting tight around there. It's getting tight down there, seriously. And a few teams, let's talk about it. Potentially Forest, right, Dave? I'm sure you thought, we're starting to... I mean, actually, when you look at it, only 4 wins in your last 6, right? 1 draw, 1 loss. So you've just lost your last game. But still, so 6 points above the relegation zone. Are you still worried, or do you think like what Dan was saying? Yeah, you're
always worried. When you get to my age, Lawless, you're always worried, mate. You never know what's around the corner, to be honest. I mean, I was on last week with Dee, and at the time we were unbeaten in 5 on a little league table for 2023 from January the 1st. Nottingham Forest were top of it. We were the best team in England over January, right? And he said to me, well, you surely must be confident now that you're clear of it. And I went, no, absolutely not, because we were heading to Craven Cottage. And then this week we've got that financially marvellous institution, Manchester City, coming to visit us, and then I couldn't see us, I thought we'd struggle at Fulham. We're not going to beat City. 2 defeats. We're back in it. So it all changes so quickly.
And who you got after City? Who's next?
Then we've got one of the European giants the following week in an old speedway stadium in the East End of London, and then we've got Everton, and then we go to an American football stadium to play Tottenham, and then Newcastle at home on the Friday night, my birthday. That's my birthday treat, that Newcastle at home. So yeah,
I tell you you could find yourself in the bottom 3 by the end of those fixtures.
Absolutely. I mean, you know me, lads. I come on here. I'm not so like Forest. Forest are amazing that they're going to be brilliant all the time. I'm actually quite realistic about it, So I think, we're definitely not out of the woods yet. And any Forest fan who thinks that is deluded and not seeing the bigger picture. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, we beat Leicester 2-0. We're like going on this trajectory. Leicester, Brendan looked haunted at the City ground, and then all of a sudden, 2 4-goal victories, and nobody's talking about Leicester. Wolves a while back, nobody was everybody thought Wolves were in it. Lopetegui comes in, and now, in a way, Dan's point's correct, because we haven't been talking about Wolves, because I think we all think Wolves are probably going to be safe. But, I don't. We're the new kids on the block. Our job, we signed 30-odd players with the newest team in it. It was always going to be a monumental task, and it's still not done. And the beauty of it, the best thing about it, is Steve Cooper doesn't think it's done either. So we're still definitely in it, I reckon.
I mean, you went mad in January again. I keep hearing from like all these Forest fans, like, we let about 50 players go. We sold like 50 players, and we've had to replace all of them. And that's why we're still doing. Come on, like, what's going on?
The truth of the matter was that if had the injury list not been so extensive, then I don't think we'd have spent as much money.
I think there's some sort of money.
Dean Henderson was injured. Awoniyi got injured. So I think, if you like, Steve Cooper was getting to the point where he was beginning to know his best 11, and then all of a sudden, injuries, and then obviously we lost McKenna and Bolly in the same moment at Fulham on Saturday. So I think a lot of it has been forced on us. I don't think Forest wanted. I think Forest were looking at maybe 2 or 3, but not 5 or 6. So it's just. I mean, if Dean Henderson was still fit, then I'm not sure they'd have fetched Kayla Navas in. They might have gone for somebody else to back Dean up, but circumstances, I think, forced it on them. Yeah,
I mean, fair enough. Let me just respond.
TalkSport don't believe that. TalkSport think Forest have been vain and all this kind of stuff. But then, so people tell me I don't listen to TalkSport because my IQ is above 14, I think. So.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired! I see it on Twitter. I see the viral clips on Twitter. That's how I see it. But shots fired at TalkSport. I will say, C-Law, the only team here on this show that is currently in Europe. I'm just saying that, and I will always say, as long as we're in Europe, we're in the race. We win that, we get Europe. So we're in the race.
Who have you got next, Dan? Who have you got next?
It's not been decided yet. The draw is not come out. So West Ham could be in Europe longer than Tottenham and Chelsea and Liverpool. Tottenham are playing tonight after this show. They could get knocked out. So then, realistically, you could have Tobes on here. You could have Errol from Liverpool. You could have Lewis from Chelsea. Could all be on this show if they get knocked out, because they're no longer be in the race for Europe. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, so you're still worried, Dave, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean,
worried about relegation.
Lawless until mathematics says, then I mean, and as you say, quite rightly, that run of games we've got, I mean, I think we've all pretty much written this week off, because, certainly having seen City's first half against Villa, Forest can't compete with that. We're not in the same ballpark as City, and to think so would be like, off the scale. But then the two big ones for us really are West Ham away and Everton at home. So if we could somehow win at West Ham and then beat Everton, we're on to 30 points, and you kind of think not too far away. If
you beat us, there's no way Moyes can keep his job.
Absolutely, mate.
Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
I don't care about these little draws. We're looking at that. We have to win that game. We have to.
Yeah. I think for anybody in this division, not beating Nottingham Forest at home, given the way our away record is a slight on their club. And if Moyes, say Forest come to the London Stadium, mate, and we win, I don't know, 1-0, 2-1, whatever, any kind of win, David Moyes will go through that thin ice, I think.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. I mean, we're gonna. Yeah. I mean, no, it's just like, because if I look at it right, we beat Wolves at our ground, obviously before they had this turning point. Did we play? If we played Leicester at home yet?
Yeah, we beat you 3-0.
Oh yeah. I'll block that out. And we beat Villa away, but we haven't really been beating teams above us. Like the teams that are quite a bit above us that maybe could be tougher back. We've all been beating teams below us or just around us that you might expect to beat. And I want to start to see us kick on now and turn a corner, but. It's,
The
it's a
thing is
long
that
time.
you played Villa and Wolves under their old managers, so we still had Gerrard. And
Oh yeah.
when that was the case, maybe you wouldn't be in as much of a relegation battle as you are. Since we've got rid of our managers and we've come out of it, you're still down there. But I've just got a quick question for you, because there's a lot of fans just want the manager out and someone new to come in with fresh ideas. But ideally for you, who would you like to replace Moyes if he was to get the sack? Is there someone that you have in mind?
No, see, this is the thing. Like at this point of the season, I feel like we've just left it too late, and I'm looking at like just options there to come midway through a season, and to keep us up in a firefight situation. And yeah, the options are limited. Like I would have loved to if we would have got Emery. Like I said when you signed him, that was a good appointment, and I definitely would have taken him. I think we interviewed him years ago, and because he didn't speak English, they went, nah, same as Bielsa. Now he don't speak English. So like right now, like Daesh obviously has gone to Everton, who's a decent appointment, but I don't want to just sign someone and be stuck with him that you get in a firefight. So if Moyes ain't going to take us down, if he's not looking like he's going to, I'd stick with him to just drag us to the end of the season and then get rid of him and then try either get an elite manager. If we can't get an elite manager, get an up-and-comer like Company or someone like that. That's what I'm looking at. But the elite managers won't come in the situation we're in, if they'll come at all. And the up-and-comers, you don't want in a relegation battle. You don't want to bring those. So we've left ourselves in a real tough spot, really. We just have to hope we have quality in the side. We just have to hope that there's enough just to stay up. I mean, is anyone worried about Southampton?
There's one manager out there. He's been waiting for years. He's always in the bookies odds. It's Alan Kirbishley. Get him back.
I'm pretty sure we were the last club to manage him.
Why did I think he was going to say Neil Warnock?
He's gone, hasn't he? He's gone.
Yeah, Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Alan Kirbishley. Bill McGarry. Get Bill McGarry back.
I'm sure we were the last club that he managed, and then he tried to sue us or something. Like, and he never managed again. So that would be hilarious if we get Curbs back. But I mean, just touching on, because we ain't got Southampton fan, but Southampton have signed Jesse Marsh. But Billy, I don't know if you're in this, because like Dan said, you're 12 points from safety effectively. But any of you guys,
we're closer to Brighton and Fulham and Brentford than we are the relegation battle. So
yeah, it's true. But
you're just a poxy club in you, Billy, so you might as well just join us for a bit.
Why couldn't you have just stuck with Gerrard, trusted the process, as the Arsenal fans say, and just seen what happened? Should have trusted that process. Look at Arsenal now. You could have been in the title challenge next season.
Thing is, the following Arsenal and Arteta was what I was preaching for a very long time, and thankfully I was wrong. Thankfully, we got rid of him at the right time. I still think we could have got rid of him a little bit earlier, but we got rid of him soon enough, and thankfully it's paid off, because despite the past couple of games where we've not really been at it, I thought we were poor against Leicester, but that was more so individual errors that cost us that game. We're on the way up. We've got another tough game against Arsenal at the weekend. Hopefully, though, we may have caught them kind of at the right point.
I hope you win that. Come on, Emery. Give them a very good evening.
Do you know what the maddest thing is, the title race, that I've actually got on board with Man United winning the title now? It's anyone but Arsenal.
Yeah. Pretty much. Their fans will be unbearable.
Wolves have got Arsenal away last game of the season. If you think I'm watching Aaron fucking Ramsdale lift the trophy, no.
I can't stand
Rob Holding.
It's all right, Dan.
Stoke-born West Brom fan. I mean, there's no worse combination.
You'll go 2-0 up and bottle it 3-2.
But honestly, you got to do football a favour. I think the story is there. It's written for Emery to come and do the business. I think for.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think for this season, for me, for looking at Aston Villa, it's just trying to finish as high as you possibly can. You know, if you hit mid-table, whatever, that's good. And then next season, it's about seeing, can you break into Europe? Can you kick on?
Yeah.
I don't know where you lot are financially. If you expect to spend big money again in the obviously you've spent shitloads really in the past few years. Do you expect to go big in the summer and have a big European charge?
Yeah, I do. I think we will go big. There was a few targets that we sounded out in January that just didn't want to join us at that time because they're doing well with their current club kind of thing. They don't want to leave them halfway through the season. Nico Williams at Athletic Bilbao's one of those, doing really well with them. Got to a Copa del Rey semi-final with them as well. So it's understandable why these players don't really want to join us halfway through the season. They don't know where we're going to be come the end of the season. And I think we just go again in the summer and let Emery get his targets, and whoever he brings in, we've got to back, because we've seen it before. He gets the best out of the players that aren't really huge names. Your Coquelins, for example, at Villarreal, you know. So whoever he brings in, we've just got to get behind, support. If they're not big names, so be it. Emery knows what he's doing, basically, at the end of the day. So that's my view of it, and I think we will be going big in the summer. Yeah.
This is why this season is so crucial that we get Europe and we win that Conference League, because next season the competition is going to be huge. Like I said, you're going to Aston Villa could be a threat. Leicester could be on the comeback. I don't know if Leicester's going to spend money, but obviously Newcastle are going to be up there. I don't know. Fulham, I don't know if this is just a one-season wonder, you know, like
second season syndrome kind of thing.
Second season syndrome. But yeah, Wolves.
They're a good side though, lads. Honestly, I saw them for an hour. They completely bossed us, and I thought, in particular, Harrison Reed and Willian were excellent. The only point at which we came back into the game was where Shelby came on. But for an hour, Fulham, you kind of thought this is going to be 3, 4, 5. I mean, Deco David Reed at the bar, Willian hit the post as well as scoring. And I didn't think we'd win at Fulham, to be honest. I would have taken a draw. But I was really impressed with Fulham. They seem to be getting quite a nice little depth of squad as well. I saw them I thought they were really good at Chelsea in that 0-0 draw. The game against Sunderland, it's an FA Cup game, but they put some second stringers in, and they look pretty decent. I really like that little group of Fulham, Brentford, and Brighton. I think are really good, all three of them. You know, pound for pound, they're probably the three best clubs in the country at the moment, overachieving. You know, so but if you add those three names to the names that you mentioned, Lawless, say if West Ham do win it, and then you've got Villa going for it, Leicester going for it, Newcastle, the Wolves could go for it. I mean, I'm looking at you four and thinking you four should all have, European aspirations, whereas for us, 17th, that's all I give a shit about is 17th, honestly, But your four clubs, and I'll tell you about your lot, Lawless. I saw him at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, after that early goal for Newcastle, I thought West Ham were going to get blown away, and they weren't. They played some good stuff. So, my feeling at the moment, my hunch is that none of us five are going to go down. I think it's going to come down to 3 from the 4 of Southampton, Bournemouth, Leeds, and Everton. That's where I think it's going to, and chuck in Manchester City, because finance plays a big part as well. You know what I mean? So I don't, I think of the 5 of us, we're the ones most vulnerable, frankly. But for you four, you all 4 really should be further up the table than you are. But that is the lay of the land at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Bournemouth are very likely. Southampton, I think that might be a task too much for Jesse Marsch. Is anyone worried about Leicester with Jesse? I like Jesse Marsch. I like him a lot. I thought he did. I thought he was decent, but he's just, I don't know. Leeds is just a bit of a mess, really. But is he a manager? I mean, he did keep Leeds up last season, to be fair. Just.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
If I was a Southampton fan, Lawless, I would not be inspired by that appointment at all.
No.
Joe, I've been watching Joe's content. He's fantastic, Joe. And he had this kind of campaign to get Marsh out. And then he's put stuff on today about Marsh going to Southampton. And honestly, it's bonkers. You know, I mean, I tell you what.
Them up at Leeds' expense. Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, but again, knowing young Liam as I do, and you know, poor lad's he's the youngest of all of us, and he's the one who's having like, you know, all the crises. We're all right as all the blokes, you know. That lad's having all the traumas. But I reckon if Liam was on this show tonight and we said to him, or you said to him, Lawless, what do you think about Jesse Marsh at Southampton? Liam would be, well, not really. You know what I mean? So
we'll see. Well, time will tell. You know what, though? I want to get into Leicester, though, because I know we got a lot of Arsenal fans who watch this, and they'll want to hear about the destruction, the dismantling, the humiliation of Tottenham Hotspur at the hands of Brendan Rodgers' Super Foxes.
That's it, Lawless. Well, basically, mate, it just seems to have come into play that we've made 3 signings in the areas that been raging about all season, other than a goalkeeper, and things change, you know. The new left back we've got in seems absolutely fantastic. He seems up for it. I'm not bashing into our own players, but I just don't think Luke Thomas was ready for a big Premier League starting space yet. I think he's still a young lad and he needs to go out on loan in the Championship and earn some stripes. Tete, the winger, absolutely fantastic. Rodgers was very clever in the game against Spurs because he sort of tacticked it. So it was all played down the left. And I think Spurs were expecting Tete to be all over them, where they went down the side of Barnes, and it worked magically. So that was great. And let's face it, Satar, the centre-back's been great as well. I know he put an own goal in against Villa.
Didn't matter in the end, though, did it?
No, that's it. And I feel like Iheanacho's been like a new signing as well, because he's got wingers playing off him. He's excellent, you know, and he's up for it. We've been missing that physicality at the top of the park because Daka's fast, Vardy's fast. But we just needed that bit of strength, you know, that can hold the ball up and get players in down the wing and stuff. And it seems to have come together. And, well, the second half against Villa, it worked. And all game against Spurs, it worked. Very unfortunate first goal we conceded against Spurs. But the heads didn't drop, which is what's been happening all season when we've gone 1 down. And they just seem to be getting on with it. And, you know, I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season now. Go Old Trafford at the weekend, like a bit optimistic, and you know,
crazy. What a difference like a transfer window can make. Be honest though, Ash. Was you one of the fans who was calling for Rodgers to be sacked? Did you think he should have gone? And
I think these guys all mirror what I'm about to say. I was always saying I think there was more of a problem in terms of he needed backing instead of it being his fault. When we were like rock bottom, I was saying that if he loses the next game, and I think the next game was Forest at the time.
Thank you for that, Ashley.
I said if he loses that one, I can see him going. But me personally, I'm thinking Brendan Rodgers is an excellent manager. Who realistically are we getting in that's going to be better than Brendan Rodgers?
True.
If you've got if you've got a big injury list and you've not been backed in the transfer window, is it right to blame the manager? And I think Top there has done exactly what the club needed by sticking by him. And let's face it, the fans that were moaning 6 weeks ago are not saying nothing now because we've scored 8 goals in 2 games and we look a different side. So he was right, wasn't he, Rodgers, after all that, saying he just wanted a bit of backing?
Yeah. I mean, do you anticipate, like, because it just seemed that you'd run out of money. And now, obviously, you've signed some players in January. Do you think then in the summer you'll be spending again, or have they got to be cautious? You've got to sell to buy. What's the situation?
No. So basically, what happened was his Topps recently cleared 2 weeks ago £96 million worth of debt for the club. So he's moved it on from Leicester City to the King Power. So obviously, I think that plays in our favour with financial fair play now and things like that. So we're able to spend again, and I think we're expanding the stadium. That's just been signed off by the council. So I think in the back of Top's mind is he was thinking, if we get this wrong, we could be in the Championship with a bigger stadium being built. So he's paid the debts off for the club. He's stuck by Rodgers. Things seem to be looking up, and hopefully in the summer we just can build that squad depth, because I can see us losing a few players. Tielemans is definitely going to go. Maddison 50-50. You know, Rodgers has said this week in the press that he might want to play at the top end of the table, and who can blame him with how well he's doing? But if we recruit well, we can still be a solid side, you know. I think a goalkeeper, replace Maddison. Without Mendy played at the weekend, you know, I'm not bashing into Tielemans, but you've really got to sit and think, do you give Tielemans his space straight back? Because Mendy was absolutely everywhere. He was fantastic against Spurs. So, yeah, things are looking up. It's nice to have choice instead of knowing that you're seeing the same starting lineup and you're just going to get battered and concede 3 corners, you know, because that was the harsh reality of it. Poor Kolo Toure was our defence coach, and obviously what he'd done at Wigan has showed exactly whose fault it was, eh?
I mean, Ashley, based on Christensen, Tete and Harry Suter, looking, you know, moving forward, the confidence in your recruitment must be quite good, because they are 3 real good uns, I think.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, they've looked absolutely superb. I mean, the Leicester fans are loving like the Brazilian flair, and that's what's all on the Twitter. Like, we've got a Brazilian player, he's excellent, this and that. But for me, my favourite signing watching over the 2 games has been Christensen, the left back.
Yeah,
I think he's absolutely unreal. Like, he just digs in. You know, he made a clearance the other day, and he was whipping the crowd up already. That's what Leicester have needed. But it's been like a morgue there this season. And you know, there was a bit of atmosphere there at the weekend.
Ash, I love that when he was celebrating the goal after he'd cleared it, and then the next corner he was at fault for the goal.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it come off his foot, didn't it? And then it sort of the Tottenham player sort of stuck his leg out and thought, "Shit, I've scored." You know.
I tell you what, though, it's great having Brazilians. We've got a thing at our place that came out, and actually, I think they run about like down at the Copacabana or something, you know what I mean? We've got like we've got the Rubik's Cube kid, and then we've got like Danilo now, and we've got Felipe, who's the guy from Atletico Madrid who put that score on Phil Foden's head last year. I didn't realise until after Saturday. So every team's got to have some, you know. West Ham's got Paquetá. He looks a real good player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, he's injured now.
Is he?
It was his shoulder, wasn't it?
Shoulder injury. And Aguerd is injured, and Cornet is injured.
Few big injuries there, Lawrence.
Gamaka's injured. Yeah, like
they're not having much luck, bless them.
Yeah, but you've got Danny Ings on like 400 grand a week now. You'll be fine.
We are Nottingham Forest. Like, what do you mean? Ain't no Nottingham Forest there paying crazy wages to get players to join. But the thing is, our 4 most expensive signings are all injured right now. £120 million worth of talent is currently injured. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And look, I want Moyes out. I've been on his case, but you got to feel for him a little bit, in a way. I can't stand our luck. I can't stand it. I feel sick when I think about it. But NS Sports TV with a £4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. And that definitely wasn't handball on the weekend, my friend. Question for the panel: which goal did your team concede that made you stand back and say, "Fair play"? No goalkeeper in the world was saving that.
Oh, I know mine. When Company hit that absolute worldie against us just before the title, I was like, you know what? It was 1-0 and they deserved it. You know, that was a screamer, especially for a centre back as well.
You know what? I've been ever since you put that up, Lawless. I was thinking, and I just can't think of one that comes to mind. Like,
It's hard.
Instantly. Because
Yeah,
all of those I just let out of my mind as soon as the
Yeah,
90 minutes had finished.
The only one I can think of is the Gerrard one in the FA Cup final, which I don't like to think about that. But yeah, that one stands to mind. No keeper saving that. That was unbelievable. And there's you got one, Dave?
Yeah, Philip Billing for Bournemouth against us when we were 2-0 up and ended up losing 3-2. Billy just smashed it. And I think Dean Henderson probably got out of the way of it killing him, you know what I mean? So so that one. And also I've got to say, a week later when we also lost 3-2 at home, João Paulinho scored a beauty for Fulham that Dean never got near, you know. So these fresh, painful scars in my memory.
Honestly, what about you, Dad?
There ain't really one that stands out. Do you remember there was one opening day fixture when you beat us 2-0 at Molineux, Lawless? I think, like, did Mark Noble score like an absolute pearl at top left?
Oh, right. I think it was that you. Was that against Wolves?
So, yeah. I think we got promoted under Mick McCarthy. Billy, that flipping Robbie Keane when he hit the underside of the bar, that 3-2.
I remember that one.
And
that was.
Remember that one flipping Konchesky scored against Wolves, Ash?
Yeah, I do remember that one. That was
with some absolute screamers. But then, I love you, Dave. But I just can't remember any Forest decent goal against us.
I tell you what,
remember, Dave. I'm only 35.
Yeah, you're young enough to be my grandson, aren't you? What would I say? I'm just thinking of all those penalties we scored against you about, back in the Carabao Cup, mate. I'm just trying to think of a Forest Wolves goal. I don't know, mate. No.
The season we got promoted about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, we beat you 2-1 at Forest, and you had this left wing that absolutely just like pole drive one in from the left. But it was more like John Ruddy thought it was going to be a cross, but he's completely. I can't think who the winger was.
Was it Ben Osborne or somebody like that?
No, I thought it was Michael Antonio, but it was someone else.
Might have been actually. Yeah, I mean, those years for Forest, I've gone through therapy and counselling to sort of blank them out of my mind. Really, I see somebody on a weekly basis where I go and have treatment to get those 23 years outside the Premier League out of my mind. So if I had to do a quiz, I would really struggle.
Have you all got one player who always scores against you? Like, even though he doesn't play great, he'll always score the winner.
Yeah, Ian Atcho. Ian Atcho, Vardy,
Wilson.
The list goes on and on and on.
Rudy Gusted.
Never Leicester players.
Matt Smith from Millwall. Always anybody who's over 6'4" loves the City ground, right?
Olivier Giroud's another one when he was in the Premier League.
Giroud. Yeah. I mean, we've had a few players like that. Yeah, it used to be Lukaku. He used to love scoring against us. Yeah, now it's Callum Wilson. He loves it. He honestly, I think he gets some sort of weird pleasure out of it. I hate players like that who just pop up against you.
Yeah.
And just,
Danny Ings.
Do you remember Kevin Phillips?
Kevin Phillips, what a player.
Kevin Phillips, Villa, Albion, Blues. I mean, all our local rivals, and he still scored. Kevin Phillips, honestly, I think his son plays for our academy now. If I see him around Molly, I'm going to slap him up. Kevin Phillips, not the kid. I'll just make that thing for the
record. A question here for you, Dave. What do you think of Chris Wood?
I've got to go to the toilet. No. Well, based on the 3 performances so far, not a great deal, unfortunately, and he's getting some real grief. To be honest, the 3 games he's played for us at the moment have passed him by. I think the problem is I'm not sure if the way we play at the moment is conducive to Chris Wood. If you've got 2 guys who hook touch lines and just put crosses into the box, then it might suit Chris Wood. But Forest are kind of playing with Morgan, Gibbs-White, and Brennan and Scarpa, and Forest almost seem to be better with a false 9 rather than with a big centre forward. I mean, even when Awoniyi was fit, he was playing down the left-hand side, cutting down on his right foot. So Chris Wood at the moment is the biggest enigma at Nottingham Forest, and he's the one that a lot of people are getting on his back, and he's the one actually who looks, from a social point of view, like he might not yet fit in. I'm sure Cooper and the staff are working to find a way, but he at the moment, I mean, Shelvey and Felipe both came on Saturday, and I thought were real positives on a poor day for us. But Chris Wood, I've had Newcastle fans telling me how good Shelvey is, and they were right. And I've had people telling me Newcastle fans telling me how good Chris Wood is, and I'm not seeing it yet. But I'm not writing him off.
Well, Dan's got to shoot off in us. Dan, we didn't get round to Wolves. Quickly tell us, Wolves on the up. Wolves out of the relegation battle. Yeah, it's all sunshine and roses.
We're flying, mate. Julian Lopetegui, he's had 7 league games in charge now of this club. The only 2 teams that we've lost to is Manchester City and Man United. If you look at the table in them 7 games, we're 7th. We've got European form. Everyone knows we've already got a European level team. Wolves, and we're back now. We'll beat Bournemouth on Saturday. We're 2 points behind Villa then. Villa are 11th, Bill.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, we're looking 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th now this season. That's got to be the aim now.
You're not losing. You don't anticipate losing any players like Neves in the summer or any of them players.
Wolves at the moment, Lawless. We're taking it every game at a time. It's all about one game at a time. In the summer, we'll come to that then. I just think that the calibre of Julian Lopetegui, even if we lose Neves, he'll bring in players to make us better. Neves will probably go. Mateus Nunes will probably go. Jean Martino is probably going to leave this summer because he's coming towards the end of his legs. But I feel with those 3 leaving, the salaries that they'll be taking with them, the owners are willing to spend, as you've seen in the last sort of 6 weeks, get us Mateus Cunha, Craig Dawson. Lawless, Craig Dawson, 3.3 million. What a signing.
I can't believe it. We didn't replace him. I can't believe
the guy was in the Europa League team of the season last year. He's just another solid defender that'll teach Max Kilman what he needs to know. And like I said, this Saturday we'll beat Bournemouth. We'll go above Palace. We'll be 2 points behind Villa. And D's falling apart again.
Bro, I'm stuck in this guy's head 24/7.
I love Joy Division, mate.
He's not. You know what, Steve?
He's obsessed with
that
Palace,
can happen,
bro.
you know, because you got very lucky. You got lucky against Brighton. You got gifted from the VAR god.
Are you talking? You really want to talk like luck and all of that? Bro, remember that you're going to be on this show in a few weeks' time by yourself. There's going to be no one else that's going to be on West Ham level at this rate. It's going to only be you, Lawless, just doing a solo show because unless Potts finds an Everton fan and a few other like Bournemouth fans join you're going to be by yourself. There's going to be like a 3-horse race in the relegation.
But you're saying this year, but your form. Let's have a look at Palace's form. Wow.
All right. Yeah, we got 1 win in 10 or whatever, 1 win in 11. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. For me, context matters.
Our form is better than your form.
Yeah, for me, context matters though. Whoever we faced during that run of games. Whoever we faced during that run of games. We faced Man United twice. We faced Newcastle. We faced Chelsea. We faced. Bro, we played a lot of games. I can't even remember all of them. You told me
you played Chelsea, Southampton. You lost to Southampton, and
in FA Cup. Still lost. We had a bit of FA Cup tax to that. FA Cup, yeah, we lost.
You lost to Tottenham 4-0. The same Tottenham that Leicester.
Yeah. I know. We crumbled in the second half. Look, I said this last week as well. There's a genuine conversation that you can have, and then some Palace fans are having it as well. Like, should we be worried? But me being realistic, from what I've seen from this team all season long. I know that we can get results. Even the one against Brighton, you're saying that we got lucky against Brighton, but then they are a solid side. And we managed to get points against the side that's arguably
better than Palace.
bro, when we're talking about Palace and Brighton, that's Palace and Brighton conversation. You have to now speak with the likes of Southampton and all them other teams. We're not even in the same conversation bracket.
You're 5 points ahead of us.
You're going to be the second team after Wigan to be playing in the Championship and still playing European football. You've been sticking on to the European football for how long? You've been sticking on to this European football for how long that you're going to get relegated and you're still going to rave on about European football. It doesn't mean anything if you're not in the Premier League. You have to remember that. It doesn't mean anything if you're not in the Premier League.
Leicester's gonna overtake you by next week, right?
All right,
Forest
all these teams can. But are you? Are you?
But in 2 weeks, we could be above you within the next 2 weeks. If we beat Spurs and Forest, that's our next 2 games.
Potentially. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen in 2 weeks, but it's not going to happen, is it? Like, there's a lot of things that happen. I mean,
there's a lot of things could happen, but it won't happen.
You know that. We've got better goal difference than you.
Wow. Yeah. You got better goal difference than us. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that what we're sticking on with? Never wins the draws. We're talking about goal difference now. What are we going to talk about next? Expected goals against and expected assists.
We've probably got better XG.
Goal difference. I've heard it all. You moved away from the stage that we're going to finish above Palace to we got better goal difference than Palace. What's
I
next,
still think we
Lawless?
will,
What have
you
we got
know.
next? What have we got next in your locker?
Look, you've got Villa next year. You're facing Villa, right?
No, we got Brentford. We got Brentford, then we got Villa.
Oh, you got Brentford. Oh, no, I'm looking at March. Yeah, Brentford away. Liverpool at home. Then Villa away. Then Man City at home. Then Brighton away. And then Arsenal away.
We've had a tough run of games. By the way, against Brighton, we arguably missed two of our most important plays so far this season. We managed to get a result against them without Zaha, without Joachim Anderson. Also, Chris Richards was injured. James Tompkins was in defense against one of the most red-hot teams. And you know this, Lawless. James Tompkins was a very good player, but the fact that we're playing him in 2023 and still doing a job shows what we're playing with right now. We have to be realistic. If Vieira gets backed, which when he did last season, we saw that what Palace could do. It was exciting football, was managing to pick up points. We had a good cup run as well. This season is a write-off. It is a write-off. And despite our season being a write-off,
you're in a relegation
we're still above you. You spent
You're in a relegation battle, my friend.
You're in a relegation battle. Why did he spend that money? You should have not even spent it. It's pointless.
No, but listen, stop deflecting because this is right. We're talking about Palace, right? I've just read your next, 6 fixtures, yeah? It's Brentford away.
Fixtures was hard as well. Yes,
You're
it is.
probably not winning that
run of games. But in April, that's when we can start looking more seriously. In April, yeah.
Liverpool are rejuvenated, yeah. Liverpool are looking rejuvenated. Aston Villa, yeah, they're away. This is Emery's Aston Villa, not Gerrard's Aston Villa. Man City, yeah, who were going to be gunning for that title, right? Brighton away. You got lucky against Brighton at home. You think you're going to beat them away? Aston Villa away.
You didn't even get lucky against us. You managed to lose against us. So you got lucky to hold on for that long. So you know about luck. You know about
really and truly. All right, let me ask everyone else here, yeah, because you're not going to be serious. By the end of who's going to be higher? Yeah. West Ham or Palace? Let's be real. Come on, just real. At the end of those fixtures.
At the end of those fixtures, I need to see the who have West Ham got in that time.
Okay, well we've got Spurs Sunday. Yeah, we've got
and Forest.
Then we've got Forest after that.
That's another loss.
Oh, at home, by the way. Then we've got Brighton away.
It doesn't change a thing.
Aston Villa at home, and then City away.
Why did you say Aston Villa at home? Like he makes that much of a Villa still a better side than you. Doesn't matter if it's home or away.
I'm blushing, lads. I'm blushing.
Very close. It will be close.
Nice to be talked about, Billy? Yeah. As Oscar Wilde said, mate.
Right, guys.
See you later.
I'll catch you next week,
guys. Ashley.
Yes.
Manchester United 0, Leicester City 4, I reckon, this week.
We can do it. Let's get them. And then we'll see Arsenal the week after.
Leicester in the title race, mate.
Come on, up Europe. Get in a bit, guys.
See you later, mate.
Mate.
I think we get more points, right? I'm not saying we win all those games.
And in your
but
next
I think
5
we get
games,
more
you think
points
it's-
than Palace.
What does that prove? What, you're going to get more points in the next 5 games because we have one of the most difficult fixtures? Wow.
Yeah, because
What does that prove?
Yeah. Well, it proves that you're all the
What,
all your
but let me ask you this question.
will be
Who's going to
above
be on
you.
more at the end of the season when it's all said and done? When we
Will it
face
be
the
us?
likes of
Because
these teams and other teams? It's going to be
once
West Ham,
we
it's gonna be
overtake you,
Palace.
it's a wrap. Like, it's done.
Wait,
it's
do you
fully
think West
done.
Ham's still going to finish above Palace?
Yeah, I think we will. I really think we will.
This guy, bro. I thought you had a little break. You had time to reevaluate, and you still come back the same. How are you sleeping, but you're still tired? You're sleeping, but
Everyone
you're
in
still
the chat,
tired. You
who's
still haven't
finishing
woken up
higher?
yet. What?
Let's hear it.
I'm not going to commit myself. Although I do think if Palace want to move, I think playing James Tompkins as a front man, a centre forward focal point, I think that's the way for Palace to go. It certainly worked at the weekend because he put the craps up, Sanchez, floppy hands, you know. So Tompkins, I think Tompkins as a centre forward is the way to go, and play Wilf off him.
The thing is, Wilf was injured. Wilf was injured, and then we had Anderson injured as well. Like, remember, Brighton came. I think they had 1 or 2 injuries, but they were. I spoke with Maz as well. Maz is trying to style it out now, but I spoke with Maz, and he said, if we don't beat you, I even got probably the receipts of him saying, if we don't beat you, then that's a shambles. I think he said exactly them words. That's a shambles. And what happened? They didn't beat us. They didn't beat us with the likes of James
Why
Tompkins
didn't they
defense.
beat you? Why? What was the reason? Let's talk about
What
it.
was the reason?
The elephant in
They
the room.
didn't take their chances, Brighton.
Oh, you talk about VAR?
I watched the
You really want
highlights.
to talk with?
Let's
Wait,
talk
you really
VAR.
want to talk about VAR when you had your central midfielder that's going down like a goalkeeper and touching the ball with his
Letter
hand
of
in the
the
box?
law.
You should have lost to Chelsea. Let's not do this,
No.
because we're both in the same predicament. Don't do this.
No,
because
we're not.
Your VAR decision was much worse than ours.
No,
that
it wasn't. Do you
clear
know
and
why?
obvious. That was
It was
clear
the
and
correct
obvious.
decision because the
Oh,
letter
yeah,
of
man.
the law.
Honestly, correct.
No. Have you seen the letter of the law? The letter of the law states it cannot be a handball if the ball hits the hand of the player that's planting his hand on the ground as he goes down for support. So as
That was a handball,
Soucek
man.
goes down, he plants his
That was a
hand.
handball.
The PMGL
Every defender turns
held-
into a goalkeeper now. Then
Yeah,
Yeah,
might as well.
that's-
Might as well. If
the law's an ass. If that's the letter of the law, the law's an ass.
Next
the letter
game,
of the
let's
law.
do that. I didn't mean it. Let Zaha turn into goalkeeper. It's fine. He didn't mean it. It touched his body. Let's be real. You got lucky. You got
He's
lucky
breaking
against
his
Chelsea.
fall.
You got lucky against
Whoa.
Chelsea.
We were actually better in the second half. We was better in the second half than Chelsea.
But you got
so-
lucky. You got lucky.
Yeah.
You still got lucky. against Chelsea.
PGMOL, PMGO, either one, right? They came out and said, yeah, that's not a penalty because he planted his hand.
You really want to take their words after what all the decisions? Do you think they know
But
what's
it's the
going on? 'Cause
law.
They look clueless as much as anyone else. They're the ones that can't even spot defenders and draw lines properly. I don't take any of their
The
words.
rules are the
Trust me.
rules, D. The rules,
you got
without
it.
the rules, where will we be? Nowhere.
Yeah.
That's where.
We'd be lawless.
We'd be lawless.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
You'd be lawless
You got
without-
Without laws, where would we be?
Yeah. Would we be
Sorry,
without
getting
the
all
laws?
wordy now.
Letter of the law,
Where would we
right?
be?
The letter
But
of the law. You got to follow that, D.
Yeah, it's
But
fine.
your
It's
one-
fine. It's fine. Honestly,
Right?
look, I think we'll finish probably around 12th to 15th, maybe 16th. But I seriously, maybe we'll go down to 16th or 15th after this weekend. But you're seriously saying, do I, am I worried about Palace getting relegated? I'm not, because I know that we have, well, so far this season, we have picked up results here and there. Even against Man United, we picked up result against them at home. I know we lost against them away from home. Newcastle picked up result.
Played well.
Brighton as well. So all these top sides. And you're talking about the next 5 fixtures. Should we talk about how we end the season? Because you're just acting like we got 5 more games remaining and those are 5 fixtures. We end the season. Well, I can tell you the fixtures anyways. It's starting from April. It goes April. So we've got Leicester, of course, they're a solid team. We've got Leeds, we've got Southampton, we've got Everton, we've got Wolves, we've got you lot, we've got Tottenham, we've got Bournemouth, we've got Fulham, we've got Forest. So we got the so-called more winnable games coming up towards the end of the season. And we had this phase at the start of the season as well when we had to face all these teams back to back. So it is what it is. I mean, I'd rather face them, get out of the way, than have, Man City 1 week and then next week have Leeds and then go back. It's fine. It's fine. We might not win the next 5
I don't
games.
think your team has the bottle to
Yeah, and
really...
your team really does. Your team really does. I wish I could bring up videos of you talking about your team and you talking about your team. And now you're sitting there acting like West Ham has got the bottle, but only you, like a month ago, was just talking about you're done and Moyes out.
How many
Moyes
leads
this.
have you let slip? How many leads have you let slip out of your hands?
I'm not too sure off the
A
top
lot.
of my head, and you probably
lot.
would know that. Like, that's impossible for me to answer right now.
But
I
no,
don't
it's a
think
lot
seen that
though.
many.
Come on, it's a lot.
Well, I think we've had more comebacks than slips, because even the Brighton one wasn't a slip. We were 1-0 down and then we had a comeback. It was 1-1. So we scored. So we actually picked up points. So we don't really... Well, we have lost leads, but we've also picked up points at some stages of the season. What about you lot? How many leads have you lost?
I love how he loves to turn this around. Wait, I'm just the host here, right?
I am
I'm the
so
host.
surprised. I
the
am
host.
so surprised
Can't
that you're
do this to
talking
me.
about West Ham like this, like you ain't set 17th, like you ain't fuming inside, and that you ain't genuinely worried about West Ham. I know you
Wait,
talk to me
16th,
like you're
man.
that same old West Ham that you finished 6th or 7th. Bro, you're
16th.
18th or 17th. Yeah,
16th.
you're 16th.
We're 16th.
Okay, all right. Where has this energy come from? You're 16th. Like, where is this energy coming from?
Well, look, we haven't lost in a while. Like, when's the
Oh,
last
see,
time?
that's what. Okay, cool. See, that's it. When's the last time you lost? So you got a point against
Last
Chelsea,
time-
against Newcastle as well. So basically,
was
we've done a
Wolves,
similar
I think.
thing. Not against Chelsea, but we got a point against Man United, a team that's more in form. We got a point against Newcastle as well. But all of a sudden,
Wolves away.
that
We got a
doesn't
point
count.
against Newcastle.
What was that?
We got a point against Newcastle as well.
Exactly.
away.
That's what I'm saying. We got similar results, but all of a sudden, that's fine for you lot, but not fine for us.
Look,
Why not?
since we haven't lost a game in exactly a month, 14th of January was the last time we lost against Wolves, right?
Yeah.
So we're
and you face
undefeated
Everton,
since then.
that you beat, yeah. You face
So
Everton,
we're
and you
in
face
better
Newcastle,
form.
Chelsea. Oh boy, I can't. So you got Tottenham, and then you got Forest, you got Brighton. I can't wait to see what you're going to be saying.
Can I just say, if we're talking about form, we've lost 1 in 6. So before we lost to Fulham, we'd gone 5 unbeaten. Again, I come back to this ludicrous actually table from January the 1st onwards, and Nottingham Forest were top of it with 3 wins and 2 draws and no defeats. You know, I mean, I was like laughing at it, thinking
Exactly,
it's
and-
complete nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, so you can spin all of these things. I'm going to come back to say that I don't think Billy's safe. I think of the 4 of us, Billy's the safest, but I don't think Palace will go down. I don't think West Ham will go down. We're the most vulnerable of the 4 of us. I am, right? But
No, you're not. You're not, Dave. It's West Ham. West Ham. Don't give Lawless the. Don't give. It's West Ham.
I'm just trying to be
When they're talking about. When
what I
talking
do
about,
think.
No.
Southampton.
Wait, are you
mate,
going to put
I
your
think
neck
are
on the
going.
line and say we're getting relegated? Is that what you're saying, D? Are you really?
I've said that about last year, potentially, that you're involved in a relegation battle, and you wasn't admitting it, and now you are, thankfully.
No, but you're saying we're
say
getting relegated.
I mean, it's interesting. It depends on what happens with
Leeds,
but
Everton, Southampton, Bournemouth. Honestly, if you watched Everton last night, I thought after what they did to Arsenal, Daichi had every reason to say, we've just beaten the runaway league leaders. Why can't you go and beat? And they were woeful, Everton, last night. Leeds, I'll give Leeds their due. And I've said this to Joe, and I'll keep saying it to anybody who support Leeds. Leeds give you 1,000% every week in effort. But how much thought do Leeds give? Leeds thrash around, and they don't play with a lot of strategy, right? Bournemouth plays some nice football, but they're a bit ineffective, and I don't think Gary O'Neill's the answer. Leeds are still looking for a manager. Jesse Marsh going to Southampton, that instills me with no confidence whatsoever. Yeah. So I do think it will come, and I'm probably wrong because I'm generally wrong, that it'll come to be 3 from those 4. Palace are fine. West Ham will be fine. I go back to that West Ham performance at Newcastle. And on the day, I started off thinking, I want Newcastle to beat West Ham to help us, because that day, apart from Southampton and Bournemouth losing, all the results went against Forest. But then after about 20, 25 minutes, I started to think to myself, hang on a minute, West Ham are playing all right here. And I looked at that and I thought, well, West Ham won't go down. I talked to my old man who's steeped in football. He watches every game going. And I said to him, what do you think about West Ham? He said, no, they won't go. They'll be all right.
No,
same with Palace.
That's me.
You know what I mean?
I genuinely think that 16th to 20th, them 5 teams are still it's still.
All right, let's predict, right? I'm gonna go right.
Wolves are
Out
flying
of all
first.
4 of our teams, the order of who's finishing higher, right? I'll go first, right? All right. So I think out of all of us, finishing the highest is Aston Villa. I think there's just 8 points between us and them. I think there's a bit too much ground. Emery, quality manager. I feel like they've turned a corner. I think they're going to finish the highest out of all of us this season.
Yeah.
Next up, West Ham finished the highest.
Oh,
We have
Bro, you're
arguably.
doing the wrong thing. You should be a comedian. You should be. You're
No,
doing the wrong choice.
next at the Apollo.
You follow.
Honestly, I couldn't even keep my face straight. I didn't even expect this from you. Coming from you, I expect a lot of crazy stuff, but not even from you.
No, I've got sound logic. I've got sound logic for this, right? West Ham arguably have the best squad out of all the 4 of us, right? As it stands right now, fully fit, right? Players that we have easily better than Palace, easily.
It don't mean anything. It don't mean anything. Technically, West Ham have a better squad than Fulham. You can argue, or Brentford, but it's not about who has a better squad on paper.
Yes,
it's about what your manager can do. End of the day, West Ham have had that squad since the start of the season, but still, right now, we're talking about West Ham being 16th.
Yes, but the thing is,
what makes you think he's going to get the best out of the squad from now?
Because
he got 2 points. Just because he got 2 points against Newcastle.
No, it's not the point.
Newcastle been struggling, by the way. They've only got 1 win in the last 5, and you got a win against Chelsea. That's fair enough. But Chelsea are struggling as well. Like,
no, what it is, and this is what I'm saying, right? Paqueta, he was playing Paqueta as a number 10, right? He thought Paqueta was a Payet. He's not. He's finally playing him in his proper position next to Rice. Yeah. Aguerd is back. Granted, he got injured again. He'll be out a couple of games, but we missed him for all of the season. Moyes is playing this back 3 now, right? Which seems to be working for now. Seems to be getting the best out of the team. We've been quite good defensively. No team has slapped us, right? No team has put more than 2 goals past us. So defensively, we're solid. Our problem has been scoring goals. We've got Danny Ings now, right? Who's back, who's ready to fit. Obviously, he got injured in his first game, but he's back. Skamaka's due back now. Antonio's not been injured. So our goal scoring issue could potentially be solved. So do I think Moyes is going to turn us into these world beaters? Not necessarily, but I think we have enough quality there to start climbing the table. Next, I think Palace, I think it'll be Forest. So West Ham, then Forest. Because Forest...
I love you, Lawless, and I want your babies.
The thing is, I think Forest are going to have a difficult couple of weeks coming up. We'll probably drop down the table.
Yeah.
But I feel like that squad that signed all of these players that was really struggling there are finally starting to click, finally starting to gel.
They're a happy bunch, definitely. Yeah.
Good, like Dave said, best form out of all of us at the moment. I think that there's enough there. They're only how many? Where are Forest? 1 point behind
14th.
Palace currently. Yeah, 14. 1 point behind Palace, right?
Yeah.
So Palace and Forest could get that in a moment. Forest could finish above West Ham potentially, right? Potentially. I know Dave said they're the biggest worry, but we have to see how things pan out. But I just think that the next couple of games you'll probably lose and then start to win. Palace, very small squad, good players, some good players. Doesn't seem to be able to really grind out results. Worst form out of all of us here. And look, and I like Vieira. I said I would have taken.
Patrick's great. I like Patrick Vieira as well. He's an excellent manager.
He's just not seeming to be able to grind out these results right now. So it's going to be mad, and your head's going to explode.
Look who we're facing. Look who we're facing. Oh my days! So you genuinely think that we're going to finish what then? 17th, 16th?
I think you'll finish 16th. I'm going to go.
My order, lads. I've got Billy finishing top of our little group. Yeah. I've got my 4 in order are Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Nottingham Forest. That's how I think it'll go.
I think that's
I look at your 3. I would say, you 3 West Ham, Villa, and Palace have all got better squads than us that have been together longer and haven't had as many upheavals as our squad has had. I mean, our squad is effectively a brand new squad. You take out Ryan Yates, Joe Worrell, Scott McKenna, Brennan, but the rest is a brand new squad. And I think, if we stay up, I said it on I might have said it on this show last week. If we stay up, it will amount to a minor miracle. I think if we stay up, when Manager of the Year awards are handed out, I think Steve Cooper has to be in the conversation if we stay up. Do you know what I mean? Because
don't worry, Lawless is going to say David.
Everybody had us
I'll
relegated in
would.
September.
Yeah.
Everybody had Cooper going. I mean, when we lost 4-0 to Leicester, we were appalling. Cooper's got to be gone. Forest will never get out of this. And where we are now, we're actually, we're not good enough to beat Fulham. We won't be good enough to beat City. But in that little group at the bottom, we've kind of somehow found ourselves above it. Yeah. But I think we'll finish 17th. I really do, and that'll do me.
We'll come to Bill's and D's predictions. Mark Taylor says West Ham, Palace, Forest, Villa. That's his order. West Ham, then Palace, then interesting shout. Villa to finish the lowest.
Funny enough, and all of these predictions, apart from yours,
I've got to be honest. I think that's Villa top, Forest second.
Mark Taylor is Japanese. When they read right to left in Japan, they read right to left. And sorry, it's Japanese.
Like a manga comic.
I don't feel we're in Japan, bro. You're reading the wrong way around. You need to have a bit of coffee and wake up. You need to have a bit of coffee and wake up. You don't even know where you're at. We're giving you predictions. You don't even know where you're at right now. You think about Japan. Where are we?
Let's have Billy's prediction, then we'll come to the delusional prediction. Let's the leader, the highest out of all of us here.
I've got to be honest. I agree with Mark Taylor. I think we'll finish top.
West Ham, Palace, Forest, Villa. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. just like that. I think Villa will finish top. Looking at the league table anyway, from what I've seen this season and what it's looking like, I think again Forest will have a tough couple of weeks, but I think they'll come out of it again. Palace have got the smallest squad, I'd say, of all of us. And again, like you say, they're just struggling to grind out results. And I'm just not been impressed with West Ham, really, a lot this season. Sorry, Lawless.
You beat, but he's not impressed with West Ham. That's what
Steven Gerrard tax.
He's not impressed with West Ham. So I don't know where he's getting this energy from. Look, we can go on West Ham Fan TV and bring up videos. I wish we had the time to do that. He's lying about West Ham. He's like, I've had enough. Moyes out. I can't deal with this anymore. We need to bring in another manager. And now we're sitting there talking like West Ham are back. Because you got 2 draws.
I didn't say we're back. I just said we'll finish above you. That's all. I'm not saying we're going to be world beaters.
All right.
I don't think you're going to go down, Lawless. But
so what's the order? You're saying you're agreeing with Mark Taylor's order. Is that what you're saying, Billy?
Yeah, I agree.
Funny enough, Lawless. I think you call me deluded. But you're the only person that's predicted West Ham to finish above Palace. So when we look at the anomaly, I can't lie, it's you right now. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
When it happens, oh my God, it is going to be beautiful. Remember this show.
You know what's going to be beautiful? You know what's going to be beautiful? When you're out that Tim Pot European competition, and when you come back down to this show,
to be in that.
When you come back down to the show, I'm gonna be out because I can't deal with this every week. How on earth are you giving me this energy because you got 2 draws? 2 draws. You haven't even won a game.
Your order then?
2 draws.
What's your order?
Is Villa? I'm trying to think. Villa. All right. I'll just say Villa, Forest. Villa, Forest, Palace, and then there'll be Leeds and all them out to them. You know what? You're not even in the top 4.
Yes.
There's other teams there.
When it happens, you're finished, mate. You are. When we
right now, as it stands, you are finished because that European competition, as I've said, is the only thing keeping you alive. When you're out that competition, when you come back down to life, You are finished. Race for Europe, more like race to the Premier League. You're not going to be in this conversation about race for Europe. You're going to be talking about
Listen,
relegation.
you don't even have a passport. What do you know about Europe? Yeah?
What do you know about Europe? We're literally in a big boy tournament this pre-season. We went with Man United and Liverpool. Where do you lot go? Where
Did you win it? Did you win it? Did you win
No,
this
we didn't win it, but
tournament?
all the other big teams were there. Where were
Didn't win
you?
the
Where were you in pre-season? Where were you in pre-season?
We was in Scotland, mate. We was in Scotland.
Talking about passport. Do you have a passport? Because we flew out. You was talking about passports.
We've been all around the world,
yeah,
mate.
True. Yeah, you're right.
There you
I went
go.
I went to Burton and Barnsley for pre-season. It was fantastic.
Look at this guy. I've been on.
You're right. I can't lie. I fumbled there. I forgot for a second. I can't believe the European competition. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. It just doesn't feel right that I forgot about
2
it.
years in a row. 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
Let's put some respect.
It's going to be exciting next year. Hopefully, Potts, for your sake, makes a race to the Premier League channel, and we'll bring a Millwall fan on. We'll have you on. We'll talk about race to the Premier League. We'll have everyone. Who else is there? Down there.
We
We'll
finish
have
above
maybe
Palace
Norwich.
and win that Conference League. You're finished. Tobes is finished. Potts is finished if they don't win the title. A lot of people are going to be finished, right? And it's going to be very.
And if I win
unpleasant
the
for
lottery
people.
tomorrow, I'll probably be like, we're doing ifs and buts. Is it going to happen? Let's be realistic now. We're doing ifs and buts. If we finish above Arsenal, then we're most likely going to win the league. I can say that. Yeah, exactly. If we do this, if we do that, you're not going to do it. So it's fine.
He who laughs loudest. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to end it on there,
Because
right?
remember, at the start of the season, earlier in the season, you was talking to me about Palace versus West Ham and all this. Oh, West Ham will bounce back. We're just having a. Where are you now? We're in February. You're still down there. Like,
We're
come
still
on,
only 5
man.
points behind you. That's all with better goal difference. That's all.
Yeah, you're 5 points behind us, and we haven't won a game in like 10 games. That shows how bad you are. You still can't be above us. We haven't won in like 10 games, and you still not above
Let's see. 6 weeks time. Let's see where each team is.
6
And then
weeks.
let's see where we are end of season.
All right, cool. All right, we'll
So-
see where we are at the end of the season. I'm not counting 6 weeks. 6 weeks, that's nonsense.
All right, let's see.
Let's see 6 weeks where we're at. Why 6 weeks?
All right.
Weird way to look at the way of things. But anyways, it is what it
Let's-
is. If that makes
All right,
sense, you
we'll
might be
see.
above 6 weeks.
I'm just finding it really, really funny. You two are arguing about Europe. Me and Billy, the only ones who've ever won anything in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Billy,
yeah.
I'm going to say, Billy, 1979, 1980, 1981.
1982.
And these two over here.
Because honestly, I don't want to argue about Europe, but this guy's making me. But look, the reality is, Lawless, you should have stuck with Newcastle. You should have went to West Ham because you had a bigger chance of seeing European football there in the long run. You saw this
But I'm
nice
seeing
little
European
glimpse of.
football now.
Yeah, no,
Watching
but
it.
2 years. 2 years. It doesn't mean anything. You just had that nice little one or two good season blip. But
In the Toto
realistically,
Cup
West
in
Ham ain't that team.
1999,
West
by
Ham
the way,
ain't that
isn't
team.
it?
West Ham ain't that team. And whereas Villa and Forest, they've been that team. They've
Well,
won
yeah.
big competition.
Centuries
And they're not
ago.
talking about Conference League as well. They're talking about the main
Actually,
competition.
yeah, that's my lifetime, Lawless. So you're right. It was centuries.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Billy,
It's
Billy
amazing
can't
I've still got any
Billy went a lot.
hair. I mean, I'm 83 next birthday. The night we played Newcastle at home, I'm 83 that night, and I'm getting wheeled to the City Ground in a special Gary Baldy
Funny
red
thing is,
wheelchair.
Dave has
I
left.
thought you were just like Philip Schofield and had it,
No, I haven't jumped any queues yet, so I'm not like Philip Schofield. You know what I mean?
The thing is, Dave has lived so long on this earth, and he probably still can't remember West Ham being that team because you've never been that side. You've never been that side.
Well,
of
if
what
he
you make it out to
remembers-
be about this great
If he remembers
side.
Forest European Trophy, he remembers our FA Cup. That's
Do you
a
know what
fact.
I remember? Hey, actually, D, to answer your question, I remember West Ham in a Cup Winners' Cup final against Anderlecht. I remember West Ham with Alan Taylor scoring at Wembley twice. I remember Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst. I remember
year
Ronnie
was this? What
Boyce.
year
I
was this,
remember
Dave? What year?
Peter
What year was
Eustace.
this?
I remember Johnny Sissons. I remember Noel Cantwell. I remember Malcolm Allison. I remember Harry Redknapp. I remember Martin Peters. I remember, who else do I remember? Phil Parks, Frank Lampard, Billy Bonds. You know, I go back a long time. I mean, when I was a kid, I just used to watch all Match of the Days. You
Don't
know what I mean?
remember anything about Palace, though, innit? Nothing about it.
Yeah,
That's-
Jerry
that's
Queen,
fine. I
Steve
mean-
Kember, Alan Whittle. Who
Did they
else
win
do I remember? I
anything?
remember that.
Did they win?
The
Did they win
team
anything?
that the Palace team that Terry Venables had with Vince Hilaire or Ian Walsh and people like that. That was a good side, actually. I like
Wright, Mark Bright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they win?
In fact,
Did they win anything?
So like I obviously remember Villa winning the European Cup with his scoring. I remember West Ham winning the cup, beating Fulham. I remember Palace playing what I consider to be probably the greatest game of football ever played in this country when they beat Liverpool in an FA Cup semi-final on a Sunday dinner time at Villa Park.
Yeah.
Right, Super Alan Pardew scored the winner. So, if you like, lads, I'm like a walking Wikipedia. I really, no wonder I've got no girlfriend. It's no wonder nobody wants to go out. I just want to talk about bloody football. You know what I mean?
Look,
and it's Valentine's Day as well, so we're all here for the love of football, not women. You know what I mean?
Basically, what Dave is saying, he remembers all of us winning trophies except Palace. That's what he's saying. So
what Dave is saying, that they've won European trophies. Lawless, me and you, why are we even arguing about Europe? Like, we haven't.
We won the Cup Winners' Cup. We've won a European trophy in our history. We won the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup.
Oh, bro.
So we've won a European trophy. Done.
Right. And we won the Zenit Data Trophy, whatever it's called. Zenit Data Trophy, or whatever it's called. I count that as a trophy as well. Then, if you won the
Cup Winners' Cups are legit European trophy. So I'm just saying. Let's sign out. Obviously, for me and two other European winners, European royalty, and Billy and Dave, and for no trophy, D, thank you all for watching. And I will be back when we're beating 1-0 Milan. Come on. And
Sobes is in the mud. Hey,
Sobes is in the mud. We can all enjoy that. We can all enjoy Spurs in the mud. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go on.
Before we go, I can't wait to have these streams and shout about who's even in your competition, like Zenit Moscow or something. I don't know, Spartan Moscow. I can't wait for them teams or whatever them teams to beat like 1-0 up against West Ham and us to be screaming the same. Now you screamed that. And he said he's against Milan. They're not going to be losing against Farmers. Let's just say that.
Farmers?
Yeah.
CSK Moscow are bigger than Palace, mate.
Yeah, and they're bigger than West Ham. But anyways, let's end the show. Let's just get there.
Let's see, innit? Let's see. Thank you all for watching. I'm ending it there. And C Potts will be back next week. And what does he usually say at the end of this show? What's his catchphrase?
He says up the Arsenal, but Arsenal ain't really going anywhere.
So the catchphrase at the end of this. Come on, you Irons!